pain, how to solve that, and it's so related with the neck, as you know, right?
Yeah.
How did you fit? You had neck pain. How did you get rid of it?
I just did the serratus activation.
You had already tried that though, right? Because when I had asked you, you were like, I tried it.
I don't know if I remember if I tried it.
Oh, okay.
That I just knew that, like, when I told you, no, I don't know how to fix it, and you were like, you're not my yoga student. And I was like, okay, I think serratus activations. Then I went home and I did it, and it worked.
Yeah. Put it down here so the phone doesn't overheat, guys.
I can. Oh, it's pretty big.
Yeah, I don't want you to have to hold it. Okay. So, yeah. I mean, I've said it in so many yoga videos. Countless times. I can't even tell how many times. And the shoulder blade is so related to the neck and neck misalignment and pain that comes from that. There's other things that, like the tongue and the jaw, which has a lot to do. If you have tongue and jaw training, jaw and tongue tension, a lot of that has to do with overthinking, because it's like when you're dreaming. And sometimes you'll like run in your dream, or you'll fall off a cliff or something, and your body will jerk and you'll wake up because your body reacted to whatever was chasing you, or you kicked or something and you kicked yourself awake because your body's reacting to imagination. So language and talking happens in the imagination too. Wow. You think about what you're going to say before you say it. Even people that say I have no filter, it came up in their imagination before they voiced it. Yeah. And that's just how language and communication works. So a lot of people have jaw tension. They have a lot of unspoken communication. I mean, this is my own personal discovery. And so take it for what it is. It's just something I'm saying. If it resonates as truth with you, then maybe it has some validity there. Yeah. That a lot of jaw and tongue tension has to do with overthinking and underspeaking. And you know, it's tricky speaking because sometimes you don't have a listener. You don't want to just be talking to yourself. Well, that's where you become valuable to society. And, you know, we've mislearned or been miseducated, so we don't have as much value to society as we think. We can do a job, and that's valuable to that corporation, which is a corpse, which is a dead entity. But as far as like living service to living people who find value in what you do, I mean, that's where I had to be humbled as I was training to be a PhD student, and then I started teaching. So I had value as a yogi, but still made like 14 grand my first year and was working my butt off. So versus I could have been much lazier with my PhD and all that stuff and made a lot more money, because there's a whole government system and everything that's made to take advantage of you like a battery. And versus being an entrepreneur, yogi or whatever. And so along the journey of becoming as most expert as possible at what I was teaching, I discovered that a lot of jaw tension, tongue tension, which was taking away from yoga practice. Like I would literally be giving myself a headache stretching yoga, or I'd be giving myself a headache when I sit and try to meditate. A lot of that has to do with what I would talk about in this video is shoulder blade tension in the muscles around the shoulder blade, and jaw and tongue tension, because the muscles of the jaw and the tongue is related to the neck so much that it's just going to pull on things. And same thing with the shoulder blade. It's very indirect. The shoulder blade doesn't connect directly to the neck, except for the scalene, which is just one. There's 3 scalene muscles on the side, and only one of those, the posterior one, connects the shoulder blade to the neck. Then there's the levator scapula that connects the shoulder blade to the back of the cranium and does one of those motions kind of to the side, because there's a left and a right one. Yeah. But other than that, and I guess the trapezius it's a big muscle, connects a lot to a lot. But all the other shoulder blade muscles, they pretty much connect either to the spine or most commonly to the rib cage. And then the upper humerus. Actually, it's probably the humerus has more attachments. I should really write this down if I'm going to be precise about it. Yeah. But probably the arm bone has the most attachments, because all the rotator cuff muscles go to that. And then the ribs, and that's what the shoulder blade's connected to. But because of pec minor actually connects the shoulder blade, which is on the back, to the front of the rib cage. Because the way that the ribs are, it's kind of deceiving. When you see someone's silhouette, you think that their ribs are shaped differently than they are. If you actually saw their skeleton, you'd see how narrow the top of the rib cage is. Even on a broad-shouldered individual, their first rib is very narrow. Wow. And Also, you would see how slanted downwards the ribs are. It looks like the ribs are these horizontal like rings. They're not. They're especially the upper ribs, because it slants more at the top, less at the bottom. The bottom ones are actually more or less horizontal. So it does this like that, but it's yeah, that's a pretty good how it does like that. That's how the rib cage like goes up. And so the way that the shoulder blade is actually situated on the ribs is already kind of in a forward slant, a forward tilt from the top.
Yeah.
And then the pec minor, you have something you want to say?
Well, I was just gonna say, like, at first doing the serratus activations, it was always like I would notice the pec minor, but then as I got a little bit more advanced, I would notice how my shoulder blade wants to push up for the activation, and then there was like a deeper relaxation of letting go of the shoulder blade to activate just the serratus. And I'm visualizing all of this with everything you're saying. It's making sense. And
yeah, and it really is always going to make more sense to the person who knows anatomy. That's why my primary target for myself, the people that would do my yoga, like if I was targeting like a predator, if I was targeting the weaklings, because most predators, they don't go after the strong ones. The lion gets the slowest gazelle. It gets the baby gazelle. It gets the old gazelle. It gets the sick gazelle. It doesn't get the strongest alpha gazelle. That one keeps getting away. So that's why they say you don't have to be the fastest. You just got to be faster than the slowest. So
wow.
It's in yoga, if I'd gone after my target audience, honestly, it would just be the people that would buy the most would just be middle-aged women, miserable in marriage, which are all middle-aged women, right pre or post-menopausal because they're very sexual. You see, it has nothing to do with yoga. That would have been my target audience that I would have made the most short-term money with. But they're terrible yoga students because they're not in it for yoga. So they're not going to be a student. They'll fall in love with you, and then they'll go as long as that goes because it's lust. And it's not proper for them to fall in love with a guy 10 years younger. It's ridiculous. So, but from my perspective, primary target audience would be physical therapists and massage therapists, because they have neck pain and shoulder pain, and they're so aware of and chiropractors. They're so aware of their muscles that they can understand what I'm saying. Got to keep it tilted, or just find a way to leave it sticking there. Like, for example, you probably don't need to hold it with any kind of grip. You just need to prevent it from falling. Just have your hand there, more or less. If you feel yourself getting white knuckles because you're gripping it, then, yeah, let it go. So, yeah, or the yoga person, which is, a minority of yoga people that actually study and keep it tilted.
Whoa. Okay.
Yes, keep it on me. That actually know the anatomy, more or less. And the thing is even those physical therapists and chiropractors, once they learn their anatomy and get their certification, like, try to keep my head more centered.
I am, but every time you move, it changes,
Do your job, or let me do it.
Okay, I'll do my job.
But don't complain one more time, or you're done.
Do my job.
One more time, and you're done. It doesn't have to be your job, by the way. I'm willing to do it. Like, if you want to relax on the car ride, here, I'll do it.
Fine.
So, and by the way, I have a phone holder. It's just in the sun. So I should get, if I wanted to do this more often, which I kind of do every Monday or so, I might get a vent holder, because then it cools the phone while it's holding it,
Yeah, that makes sense.
That's what the Camaro needs, which I have. I have the vent holder. Yeah. So knowing the anatomy, a lot of times those chiropractors and massage therapists, they don't remember years after their certification the attachment points for the muscles. They have most of them, maybe, but the ones that I'm doing, serratus, and the ones that are for neck therapy, primary subscapularis will also help, and stretching pec minor. It's those three: a weak subscapularis, then to a larger degree, subscap is really a minor thing relative to serratus, and serratus anterior, a weak serratus, because of how we hold our arms in living. It's become weak, it's become long, which means it's hard to think of it, but the rib cage muscle, serratus anterior, has become too long on people. And weak, and then the pec minor has also become short and tight. So those three things, like the weak subscap, the weak and long serratus, Because even if serratus was strong, if it's still long, then pec minor is still going to pull the shoulder blade over the ribs. And that's what I'm saying. The ribs are slanted forward, especially at the top. The shoulder blade sits on it kind of at an angle. So the pec minor attaches the top or the spine of the shoulder blade, and it pulls the top front side of the shoulder blade over the ribs down to the middle side ribs. That's the pec minor. It's just a little thin muscle that pulls the shoulder blade over to the side ribs. And that, all the muscles that attach across the back of the shoulder blade and how the shoulder blade's attached to the head and everything, pulls on the front of the neck or the lower neck. So it'll make more curve in your neck. So a lot of people have neck pain because of the issue I'm talking about with pec minor serratus primarily, those two. Those are antagonists. So as you shorten, tighten, and strengthen serratus, you relax. You don't really lengthen, but you relax pec minor. Then you can really safely stretch pec minor, which will help elongate it, which is the remedy. Again, remember I said the tongue and jaw tension also contributes to neck pain, so that's a separate issue. But doing the muscle activation techniques is a samyama practice, which it also means that it's a concentration and a meditative practice.
It's quite addicting.
And
in a peaceful way, once you tap into
right.
the deep breaths, it's just like you said.
It's a mechanical, if you use it as a means of prayer, then you'll get the potency out of it. Do everything as prayer.
Yeah.
Do everything as almost like a donation to God.
Yeah.
Every action. And so even your neck therapy practice, if you keep God in mind as you do it, it'll help you be less vain about it.
Yeah.
So you're not trying to perfect yourself for self-glorification. You're just doing the good work to make your vessel more efficient.
Right, right.
And,
for sure.
You know, because to me, it was a curse. I became obsessed with that stuff in the pursuit of peace in my heart.
Yeah.
That's what I was doing. And my path, that was my cross to bear. You know, but that's what the meaning of it. So I came at it from my angle, and I found my path now through that. And so I have a science, a reproducible technology that alleviates neck pain, because neck pain is primarily caused by the serratus muscle and how you're using your shoulder blade. Tight pec minor, weak long serratus. And so the serratus activation is a gift to mankind that came through my old teacher, Bryce. And wherever he learned it from, he did name some people, like something little, I think, from New Mexico, and his wife. I don't know how much of the serratus activation he got from it. Bryce had real bad, probably still does, real bad scoliosis. So it was his, therapy for alleviating pain for that. Similar to mine, he had a cross to bear, and so he obsessed about these muscle activations in a certain way. I did also in my own way. My main thing was actually neck pain. Yeah. But at the time when I learned it was shoulder socket pain. A lot of shoulder socket pain. And, through my journey, I learned that when you have a pain somewhere, you create holding patterns in other places in your body where there's tension that you're using to kind of offset or compensate for the discomfort. And you chronically hold that for a few days. And even if the pain goes away, you still have the tension from holding against it. But if you've had pain for years or whatever, like you have intense you have a really crystallized holding pattern in your body. So,
look, we're in Vegas.
Yeah, we're in Las Vegas, everybody. Yogi Chris in Las Vegas. You want to see? There you go. Las Vegas, there's a strip, there's a casino hotel. We're going to the watch store, and I'll be there in exactly 1 minute. So we'll end this. Serratus activation. I have 2 free serratus activation videos on, these fucking herd of wildebeests. These fat black women that are just like, seriously.
Your whole video is going to get bad now.
Well,
racially,
they're in the middle of the highway. I literally I got splattered almost. I almost splattered those wildebeests. Those wild beasts. You ever think that name is just wild beast? Wildebeest?
I don't know.
That's what it is, right?
English is funny.
English sucks. Like a lion is lion.
Yeah.
It's always lying. Can't tell the truth.
Well,
Yeah, it's a trip, right?
Yeah, but only in English because it's like a similar sounding. Like, well, now in Serbian it's like love.
Yeah, English
That's
took
nice.
over the planet, and it was programmed to enslave the minds of people.
Yeah.
But it's so clever, you wouldn't know that. And so be it. So it is. So we'll find transcendence through it. Or past it.
Yeah.
Above
Maybe-
it, beyond it.
Maybe if you don't mind to tell them about your app, it's gonna be
Yeah,
live
so
soon.
there's 2 free Serratus videos on this channel. So if you want to explore neck therapy, it's the most potent that I'd ever found on YouTube. I don't know what people are selling in their private trainings. I'm sure people have discovered this stuff and even beyond. But I offer it there for free. 2 pretty good videos. You just type it in, Serratus anterior activation. You know, if I was more thorough about this, I'd probably put the link in the description for this for you guys. But you could just find it on my channel or whatever, Serratus anterior activation. And then there is on my website, which is linked in the description, you can find the Heart Seal product. The product really goes deeper into it, different camera angles, and it shows you, it's me, I'm showing you the anatomy, how it aligns with different things. I have graphics and, you know, very thorough product, $97. I also have a free app, right? Or no.
Free for 7 days and then $14.99.
And what's it called?
Well, it's gonna be on your website starting this week.
Oh. Okay. Well, in the future then, just go to the website so you familiarize yourself with
And on your
ninthlive.com.
Instagram, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'll post it. So if you guys follow, you can follow me on Instagram,
Yeah.
PhD Yogi Chris. PhD Yogi Chris. Then I'm going to have this app that's $15 a month, and it organizes a lot of the yoga videos for you. I have several on this YouTube. That enough that you would really enjoy. But I have a lot of 20 to 40 minute, usually about 30 minutes. These yoga flows, if you want to call them. Sometimes they are little vinyasa flow type movements. They draw from a lot of different people that I've picked up my practice from, making it more and more efficient for the modern urban monk that's always on his technology or her technology, you know, the phone, driving. I toured the U.S. teaching this stuff, and I'm always on my phone, always on my laptop for my business, unless I was practicing or teaching yoga. So in this hustle, I distilled my yoga practice into something that I could efficiently do. It was predictably healing, and, you know, as I've become more tense, less mobile, because I'm not just always stretching, my yoga practice has become very accessible to people. Versus you used to have to be more flexible I would get bored teaching yoga because I'd be teaching things to tighter people than me. And I was like, man, I would always be so excited to have a flexible person I could teach something like more advanced. But now it's not like that. I'm closer to the flexibility of everybody. Okay, so that's this video, shoulder therapy, really good video. And we're at the watch store now. So I'll see you guys. Praise the Lord.